Welcome to another edition on the Windsor Wednesday show. I'm so excited to welcome today's guest. But before we do, I do want to mention that we have a giveaway going on right now in partnership with Luddy Library. All you have to do is visit the Office of Student Experience Facebook page or Instagram for details on how you can win a $50 Indigo gift card. So I definitely recommend checking that out. And to give a spiel about our guests today, we have Hanlu and Dominik. They're both co-founders of Ani and Fabi. They're both graduates, with both graduating with a BComm, an HBA, and an MBA. So I'm glad to have Hanlu and Dominik on the show today. And down below, we have Katrina Bahnam, and Katrina is also, she's currently a University of Windsor student in her 4th year of law and political science. She's a TA and has led many, many clubs at the University of Windsor. So I'm glad to have today's guests on the show. So to kick things off, we'll start with Katrina. So Katrina, I'm curious to know, what research are you currently working on as a research intern, and what do you enjoy most about this experience?
Yeah, so I'm excited about this question for 2 reasons. One, I get to talk about outstanding scholars, and 2, I get to talk about some research grants at the university. So in my 1st year of university, I was an outstanding scholars candidate. So basically, when you excel in your last year of high school, you get offered into this program, and you get a small scholarship. And after that year, if you're in the top 80 students of your cohort in all programs, you get offered a paid research position for the rest of your university education. So undergraduate paid research at the university, which is crazy, one of a kind. And so I started my research working with Dr. Cheryl Collier, and we looked at the feminizing differences between political parties, which parties best met the needs of women, whether it looks at abuse towards women, childcare policies, everything surrounding what is particular for women's welfare. And then this past summer, I applied for a research grant through MyTax with my supervisor, Dr. John Sutcliffe, and now we're looking at public transit in Windsor during the COVID era. So we're looking at how it was pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, and after the pandemic. And we're also going to compare it to similar medium-sized cities to see what they've done, how it's comparable, and hopefully at the end of it, come up with a policy paper and then a journal article to offer some suggestions to the cities. And what's been neat about this time around is that we've been holding interviews. So it's my first time doing interviews with people for a research project. So it's been a great experience. I'm learning a lot about the process, and it's been a lot of fun.
And Katrina, if you do know, how can students get involved with outstanding scholars?
Yeah, so in your 1st year of university, even if you're not an outstanding scholars, that's okay. It doesn't mean you don't have a shot at it. Work really, really hard. I think you need an 85% average to be sent the link in order to apply. And then once you get that link, they take a very holistic approach now. So they're going to be looking, have you met that 85% threshold as a cumulative GPA? And then what are you doing outside of that? What student groups are you involved in? What are your interests? What area of research do you like? And have you looked into, which professor you may want to work with, and why that professor is a good fit for you. It's a really nice and easy application, but it does get you to think about what your areas of interest are, and it'll also guide you to what you want to do with your undergraduate afterwards, because you do get a shot at researching just about anything you really want.
And I guess a really great thing is it's paid opportunity. So I'm glad it's had a great impact on you, and I definitely recommend those watching to definitely check out the program. Thanks for sharing that, Katrina. So Hanlu and Dominik, before we get into the first question, I do want to ask about your business. What is Ani and Fabi all about?
All right, I'll get started. So we actually started this business 3 years ago, more than 3 years ago, which is crazy. Pretty much right after our MBA, we started this business because we saw the need in the market that there's nothing right now in Canadian market to build up baking kits. And a lot of the kids at home, when they love to bake, but they couldn't get the measurement right, they couldn't drive out to shop for the ingredients. Some households, they don't even have enough storage to store those additional ingredients that you're not going to use. So we saw the need, and we created Ani and Fabi baking kits, where we provide all the ingredients that you need to the exact amount, and then you just need to follow our recipe step by step with a picture also, and you bake your cookies, cupcakes, all sorts of things at home. So it's a great fun activity that you can do with kids at home, with couples, or with your family, just to have a great time without worrying about measuring and all those nitty-gritty stuff, because we took care of that.
Wow, that's a great concept, and definitely helps save time for the consumer. What would you say at the University of Windsor really helped you establish this enterprise?
Where do I begin? There's just so much things that I really appreciate what UWindsor taught us.
Yeah.
We're running a small business.
Yeah, we had well, first of all, like we had great professors. Some of them who actually became our mentors and advisors to our business after we graduated. So we were really lucky in that way. They provided us a base. We got involved in these kind of things, classes, which allowed us to work out sort of with businesses, had a lot of interaction with even local small businesses in Windsor, and that kind of spurred that entrepreneurial spirit. And along with the learning, it was something which, when we graduated, we knew we wanted to pursue that, so much so that actually in our 5th module, so that's sort of the last semester of our MBA, we took on a sort of custom entrepreneurial project with a professor, where we sort of developed an idea from beginning to finish and prepared it for launch. So so that was something which honestly, all along the way, we had great support and a great opportunity to learn, and that's really give us a good base. So
it's so inspirational when you are at school, but you are inspired by the local entrepreneurs because you get to work with them, and you get to hear a lot of things, a lot of inspirational stories, and you have professors that are pushing you to try new things. And they're not just ask you to finish this book, do this test or whatever, but they encourage you to be creative. They encourage you to come up with your own ideas, which really, really actually encouraged us to take this first step, which is the hardest step as an entrepreneur.
That's fantastic. Great points. Would you say you enjoy cooking, or is this something that it just kind of came out of nowhere?
We, to a certain degree, it was more of sort of the. It was more of that sort of that ideas where we were thinking about things, and it was around that time when sort of meal kits were starting to get bigger as well, and we sort of saw that there's really not much in Canada, at least as far as the dessert portion of the meal.
We're the first one in Canada to
wow.
that. Meal kits was our first idea, but usually you pivot quite a lot throughout this journey. We didn't think it's gonna work, and then just one day the idea came up saying that, let's check out baking kits, and there's none. We're like, yes, let's do this. And he's from a Polish family, so baking is quite a lot. So might as well use that expertise, right?
Yes, and it's a great concept and great business model that you've built, and I'm glad the University of Windsor has provided that foundation. Thanks for sharing. Katrina, down to you. We talked a bit in the introduction about the variety of different organizations that you've had the opportunity to lead and volunteer for on campus. What would you say, event-wise, or maybe it's a club, that was the most challenging for you, and what did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, so there's definitely been a lot of challenges in all my clubs. Nothing is swift and easy, nothing goes smoothly. But at the end, people don't usually see those behind the scenes chaos. But I think the most chaotic, frustrating moment for me was running our first ever Society of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences Gala. So the acronym is SAS. SAS has been inactive for, I want to say, about 3 years before I got voted in as president. And coming into the job, I had no one to really ask questions to, nothing to really go off of other than what I thought the organization should be. So along that journey, it was very difficult. I had to ask other leaders of different student organizations and student unions for their help and advice. But when it came down to the gala, no one really told me just how much work it was. So there was a lot of issues with, dealing with finances, how to go about paying for things when you're dealing with, a student account. And so that in and of itself was a huge challenge. Also, the day of was very, very challenging. We had, people who couldn't make it last minute, or people that we had to switch out last minute to go on and speak. And so the entire process of that was very chaotic. What helped me through it all was my team. I had some amazing members who were so good at handling in the moment issues. Some people who were just good at calming everyone down, and other people who just had so many contacts and connections that they could fix something with a snap of a finger. So it was great to see our group kind of come together, pull it off, and at the end of the day, raise over $6,000 for the Canadian Mental Health Association. So although it was stressful, chaotic, scary as heck on my side, at the end of the day, we pulled through and it was great.
Great initiative, and congrats on the 6,000 that you fundraised. So you mentioned it being a challenge. What would you say you're most proud of from participating in that event?
I have got to say, one of the things I'm most proud of, aside from the money raised to Canadian Mental Health Association, we got to hand out awards to staff and students. And it was our first time ever giving out these awards. And I think that sometimes professors forget just how much they mean to us and how impactful they are on our lives. And so being able to hand out these awards that were voted by students, and tell professors, hey, you are the best of the best, you have impacted students' lives, here's some of the great things that students wrote about you in their nominations, and seeing the looks on their faces, the surprise on their faces. I think that to me was one of the best moments, just being able to show that gratitude and say, hey, thank you for caring about us. Thank you for doing your job and being a real educator and not just, a lecturer. So that was, I think, the best moment.
I can't agree more. I think that professors and staff members, faculty are definitely the backbone to our education. I'm glad they had a great impact on you. Thanks, Katrina. So Dominik and Hanlu, great story about your business. I absolutely love it. And we talked a bit about the support that faculty members have had in your life when you started up your business. What experiences, if you give an example, or any type of resources that you really found helpful throughout this planning and development of your business?
Well, I would say they're always there. All the mentors that we have, they're always there. All the professors that we had before, their doors are always open for us to just walk in and chat. And sometimes some inspirations would just sparkle during our conversations because they're so smart and they're so experienced within their industry. They have connections. They have ideas that they can tell you, how about this? And we're like, we never thought about that. And those are some of the moments that really helped us quite a lot. Also, all the professors that we had in the past, they, not to say that they just push you to do whatever projects that you have, but they also make sure that you learn all those fundamentals in the book really, really well. And those are the things that people are saying book smart, but you need that book smart. When you're in this industry, when you're actually operating a business, without those fundamentals, you don't know where to go either. So we believe in the whole book knowledge that you need to know, as well as the field expertise. And our professors actually make sure that we are solid on both sides of operating business. So that's to us is one of the biggest support that we can get.
Yep. That and also like interaction with other small not only businesses but like accelerators or like small business center or epicenter, which our first interaction was when we were still in school, and they really helped a lot as far as even like initial funding and things like that, like when you start a business. So so getting to know about those resources, and then going out into the world, they're still there. And if you make those connections while you're in school, it's a lot easier to sort of to talk to someone, get that help, and that really helped us get started. And we're still in contact and working with some of these organizations today.
Yes.
So that's amazing.
To all the entrepreneurs out there, please check out Small Business Center and Epic Center in University of Windsor. They're just tremendous help. Always, they're always there, and they're so easy to talk to. Being an entrepreneur is so hard. Like, it's so hard, but it's nice to know that you have a giant support behind us. You're never alone. If you want to talk to someone, there's always someone that's there, and they wish you the best. They try their very best to help you. They want you to succeed, because when you're successful, Windsor's successful. So please check them out and talk to them. Schedule an initial meeting. Who cares? But yeah, check them out.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. And that's a great story. And I'm glad that you did mention being book smart, and then also getting that experiential experience and learning experience out in the business world. So you're great examples of that. So thanks for sharing that story today. And our last question of the day talks about why we're UWin proud. We'll have Katrina go first from a student perspective.
Yeah, so I'm UWin proud for two main reasons. One is our staff. Again, I am so thankful for the professors we have in political science. I mean, their motivation, their support, it's wonderful. I am currently in a thesis class and working on that project, pursuing a passion project of mine, and having an entire faculty supporting me, offering me suggestions and guidance has just been amazing. So number one is faculty, professors, they're amazing. And then the second reason is the students on campus. So University of Windsor has this amazing culture where students, come together, they rally together when there's a cause, and they fight for things with each other, and they support one another. And that to me is wonderful. And you don't really find that in many other universities. And you can see that also in the diversity of our student clubs. We have student organizations for just about every cause you can be passionate about. And if you're passionate about something that doesn't exist, you can create a new one, and you'll meet people with those same interests. So the student spirit and the student community is wonderful, and it's so close knit, and it's great.
Well, thank you, Katrina. That's terrific. Especially you talked about being able to start your own club. The opportunities, I guess, are really endless if you want to start that initiative. The University of Windsor does provide that, so I appreciate you sharing today. Hanlu and Dominik, why would you say you're proud to be graduates from the University of Windsor?
There are so many things that I am appreciative of University of Windsor. First of all, I was an international student back then. So to me, back then in 2008, all these universities are the same on the other side of the globe. So I was so happy that I chose University of Windsor, had the best time of my life. And the reason UWindsor attracted me back for my MBA here, and that says a lot, because back then we always say that once a ODATer, always a ODATer. Yes, I'm just this time in my life truly inspired me so much in every way in my life, that brought me back from China. That means quite a lot. And I like how pushing our professors are. You need it. And I appreciate how knowledgeable our faculties are. They know everything. And I appreciate how supportive the school is in every single way. They're welcoming, they are helpful, they're always there for you. And whenever you need it, this is your home. And you can always find someone, and you can always find something to help you. And I'm pretty sure this is going to last. And that's what I really appreciate of. And that's why I'm so proud that I would recommend this school to anybody, because that's how much I benefited from.
That's amazing. How about you, Dominik?
Yeah, so just to add to it, my points are going to kind of cross over with both Katrina's and Hanlu's, but yeah, no, it's definitely that whole atmosphere. And like Hanlu mentioned, it's UWindsor, but it's also Odette. It's kind of like its own micro ecosystem within the university, and it's just like a network of people you have there. So many professors people who I can still go back to and are still there, and I could still talk to them. And it's just there's a lot of opportunity. The ability to be, I was involved in a few clubs here and there. The people I met there, it was just a great sort of atmosphere for learning, and not just learning within the classroom, but those extracurricular activities. So it still is a great place. I do hope that it returns back to the point where you get to run into someone in dividends and talk to someone in Odette, as opposed to just everything online these days. But yeah, it was definitely a great school, and like Hanlu said, I came back for a second degree, so I think that says a lot.
Yeah, the experience did make a huge difference in our life, and I'm sure the difference will last, and I'm sure this will continue.
And I have to ask, did you two meet at the University of Windsor?
Yes, we did.
During the MBA, yes.
During the MBA, and now we're married.
Yes.
That's amazing. So it builds connections with on campus, and it builds relationships. That's amazing. I do appreciate everyone's time today. Katrina, Hanlu, and Dominik, I appreciate it. And those watching, I hope that from today's conversation, you have some great takeaways and tips as you approach university, or as you continue throughout the University of Windsor. So thanks for watching. We'll see you all next week, and stay safe.